tremendous complaints about Africa, about other countries too, from people. They say there's a lot of bad things going on in Africa, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. When you say we don't take others, all you have to do is take a look at the southern border. We let 21 million people come through our border, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. They came from all over the world. In many cases, they're criminals. They come from prisons. They come from mental institutions. They come from street gangs.
I grew up in an area in South Africa that is a farmland area, Polokwane.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
there is some issues up there. Obviously, my dad was a property developer as well as a part-time farmer. And yeah, some of these buddy farmers got killed. The farm is still going. My brothers run it. But it's a constant battle with farms they're trying to burn the farms down to chase you away. So it is a concern to try and make a living as a farmer. And at the end of the day, without farmers, there's no food on the plate. So we need the farmers to produce the food.
Farming, right? He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't even want to do what you're doing, right? They love farming. They don't want to leave. But it's a struggle.
Yeah, and food and fresh water is the most important thing in life. Without those two things, you can't survive.
Boy. So we got to talk about what I believe to be the wildest exchange in the White House involving a meeting between President Trump and a foreign leader since President Trump put Vladimir Zelensky in his place just a few months ago in this same room, okay? As now we have South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who has come to visit President Trump. And President Trump stunned this man silent, okay, after President Trump played a video of what appears to be cause of mass violence, okay, in South Africa, particularly violence against whites. You've had thousands of white South African farmers be murdered due to some of the racial violence that is happening in that country, along with the fact that there are actual laws on the books that call for redistribution, farmland redistribution from white farmers to other folks, to black farmers, due to calls for equity, right? That's what they want. This is what's playing out in South Africa, what they eventually want to play out in the United States of America, right? That is why you have the media denying what is happening, right? They're denying, oh, no, there's no racism and discrimination, no anti-white racism and discrimination going on in South Africa. No, that's a conspiracy theory. It's made up by Elon Musk and the white supremacists. In fact, the South African Constitution is superior to the United States Constitution when it comes to protecting so-called minorities from racism.
South Africa got over apartheid. Did they just go back to their Afrikaner racist constitution and be like, oh, we just need a couple of amendments. We just need a couple of changes here to make it work? No, they threw the whole thing out and started again, this time asking everybody. Wow. This time having a completely new delegation of all of the people of South Africa, not just the white folks, but not no white folks. And they came up with a new constitution. It's one of the reasons why the South African Constitution is generally thought of as one of the best constitutions in the world. And ours continues to be a piece of crap.
So what laws would you kick out immediately? What laws are you saying it needs to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, so the first one I have in my book is that I want to eliminate every single voter registration law.
Not otherwise. And so now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa but cannot get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks
Does
like
that
that's
seem
about
right to
it
you?
looks
Does
like
seem
that
right to you?
looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
Well, those rules were designed to bring
yes or no?
those rules were designed to bring about an era of more economic equality in South Africa, and it looks like the government has found a way around those rules for you.
I asked you a question.
This is your interview. Everyone wants to hear from you.
I asked you a question. Yes or no?
Not
Racist
for me.
laws, yes or no?
Not for me to answer. I have got a question for you about your government work, though, and the amount of savings.
Why do you like racist laws?
This is not for me to answer. Come on.
Yes, it is.
Now, you wouldn't be trying to dodge a question.
You have to
that
ask a
is difficult
question.
for
I
you
answered
to
my
answer.
question. No, you
Yeah, so you see, now you heard that. Now, Elon Musk was present during this meeting at the White House, in which I think that this meeting right here is going to be part of the reason why President Trump is going to go down as one of the greatest presidents ever, okay? Because we've never seen anything like this, at least not in my lifetime. So without further ado, Let's get into it.
You never change.
Mr. President, decide what will
Please.
it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Sure, I'd rather answer. It will be.
Our President will respond to you.
Yeah, let me.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it.
Sure.
And we have documentaries, we have news stories. And that. Is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things. And I have to, it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
We have, let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you, Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. We can occupy land. That's who we are. Whatever you want to do, we can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament. Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill, no matter. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Pa, 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 pa.
The man of DJ in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashama and Suri will not be touched. They will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Wow. Wow. And yes, I have seen this video before, okay, but it doesn't make it any less shocking, right, to hear this type of hateful rhetoric, right? I mean, the dude is just flat out calling for the killing of white farmers, right? I mean, this is a political party within South Africa, okay? And this is what is happening. This is what they're saying. Now, again, if the race hustlers were consistent, right, then they would be condemning this. They would say, no, this is wrong. This is racism. We shouldn't have this type of radical, violent rhetoric happening in South Africa, right? We know this is what they would say, again, if the shoe was on the other foot, right? Can you imagine a whole crowd of white folks basically chanting the things that they're chanting about white farmers, right? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if that was a thing, right? Again, these people in the liberal media, I guarantee you they wouldn't be denying that there is racially motivated violence, a lot of it happening in the country, right? They wouldn't be denying it. They would be condemning it and saying that it's wrong. But again, since this is basically violence against whites, they're totally fine with it, right? In fact, you're the bad guy if you call this out, right? You're the bad person for calling this out and saying, hey, this is wrong, okay? This is something that should be addressed by the government. I mean, this is well beyond what I would consider to be free speech, okay? I mean, could you imagine white folks having a rally like this in the United States of America, right? Ask any of these people. Ask any of these people that claim, oh, this is not a big deal, right? It's whatever. Well, apartheid happened and they're black, so they could just say whatever. Could you imagine if this type of stuff was happening in America, right? I mean, who knows? I mean, low-key, some of these Democrat rallies, I mean, they're not getting too far away from this type of stuff that we're hearing in South Africa, to be honest with you, right? If you turn on MSNBC, yeah, I mean, you're basically hearing this type of stuff.
That this election has proven, that this administration has proven painfully in some ways, is that Black people cannot save this country from white folks. We can't do it alone, right? If white folks aren't going to join in, if white women aren't going to join in, if Latinos aren't going to join in, we can't do it alone.
The brewer, the farmer, the brewer, the farmer, shoot to kill, come on, sir. Kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer,
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, what's not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't ever see the future.
I mean, do you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter? They freak out. It sounds like a genocidal.
I can't take it.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
Yeah, see, now you heard that. Now, that South African political figure that you guys saw there is Julius Malema, who is a leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters. Now, Malema has led these chants, this song, right, called Kill the Boer, okay, which, you know, people claim, they say, oh, well, it's a struggle song, right, about anti-apartheid South Africa, right? It's a symbol of historical resistance, right? And other people have promoted it as racial violence.
There, Larry, has been debate over that song, that anti-apartheid chant, right? And for people who don't have a historical context, it does potentially appear more literal. Talk to us about the debate that has happened inside of South Africa with the recognition of how it appears to people when they hear those words.
It is an inflammatory song, without a doubt. And many in South Africa, even black South Africans, don't think it should be sung in a post-apartheid world, 30 years plus after apartheid. But there are many who grew up under those years of white minority rule who understand the historical context of this song, Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, that Julius Malema has made popular again. It sort of fell into disuse. It's not been that commonly sung after the end of apartheid in 1994, but it's brought it back again to reanimate the issue of the majority of land in South Africa still being owned by white farmers.
Now, again, the worst part, I think one of the craziest part about this press conference is right after this clip was played, the reporters decide to try to change the conversation and to deflect by asking President Trump about the plane that was given to him as a gift from Qatar instead of about what they just watched in the video. Take a look.
Okay. Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
You know, you to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead. Go ahead, talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet. Let's go.
Thank you so much, President Trump.
Yeah, that's how the mainstream media operates, folks, right? Deflect. Oh, we just watched a video of some radical calling for violence, racial violence in South Africa. Oh, quick, let's talk about Trump taking a jet from Qatar, right? As if that has anything to do with the subject at hand. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. But the question was asked as a deflection, right? That's how these people operate. This is why they make me sick. Can't stand them. So eventually, the South African president did address those comments. And he says, listen, that is a minority of people, okay? Their views don't reflect the government's views. They are a minority party, even though there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people filling up stadiums chanting that stuff. I think that's a problem. But according to the South African president, it ain't really that big of a deal.
In cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilized.
The farmers are not black.
I
don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently. And we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here, but I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible, but if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it, but the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this, why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force? Okay, the United States, not to me, to the United States Air Force, so they could help us out because we need an Air Force One until that's Air Force One, it's being built. 2 of them being built. But Boeing's a little bit late, unfortunately. So why did they give us a plane to the United States Air Force? That's what that idiot talks about after viewing a thing where thousands of people are dead.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I gotta tell you guys, this administration is amazing, right? You would only see this in a Trump administration. You wouldn't see this from some other Republican, right? You definitely wouldn't see it from a Democrat. Okay, Democrats would be celebrating this type of stuff, to be honest with you. They'd be celebrating that type of call to violence, right? That's exactly what the Democrat Party has become. But I'm just saying that you can only see this under Trump administration. Only he has the cojones to confront a leader of another country with that type of footage in the White House, as the media basically denies that all of this stuff is happening in South Africa, right? It's pretty fascinating because, again, if the roles were reversed, right? If you had whites chanting those things about blacks, the media wouldn't be denying it, right? They'd be calling it white supremacy, okay? But in this case, you have a majority black country, a minority population of white folks who, you know, some of whom, again, they feel persecuted, right? They feel as if their land is being unfairly taken away from them. And you don't have the media out here screaming about black supremacy, right? That, hey, you know, this is not right. You can't treat minorities like this in your country, right? You should have political parties promoting this type of violent rhetoric. That is what they be saying, okay? And they will be asking for more condemnation of it. But in this case, yeah, they want to distract. They want to try to deflect. They want to try to change the subject. Quick, change the subject, right? That's what happened during this Oval Office meeting. And let's just say it didn't work out too well, okay? I think that President Trump handled this perfectly. And man, we are blessed to have a president like him, okay? We would only see this in a Trump White House. It is truly an amazing time to be alive. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.